So, Glenn, you missed the first 2 minutes.
You know, I guess logistically that means I haven't watched the whole movie.
You haven't watched the whole movie, so you dare not review this.
Yeah, I can't say a word.
But you know what you did miss?
Word.
Henry Cavill hanging dong.
No.
Hello, everybody. Welcome again to Keystone Film Review. We just saw Argylle, directed by Matthew Vaughn, written by Jason Fuchs, starring Henry Cavill, Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Rockwell, Bryan Cranston, and many others who I will not get into at this moment. This, of course, is a movie about an author who is kidnapped by spies because she's too good at predicting what they're doing.
She's writing a goddamn book about spies. Dude, she's a fortune teller.
This movie, I mean, pretty much every movie's on my radar for the most part, but I really had no real interest in seeing it. It didn't really pique my interest other than Sam Rockwell. For him, Henry Cavill, I'm assuming, was the...
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And for the first hour, I would say, it was fun, a little slow, but, you know, a lot of exposition, but it did have its fun moments.
Yeah.
And then things happened
Ooh.
that changed that. Was it for the best or for the worst? Who knows? Glenn! What did you
Sorry,
What
when
did
people yell my name in a fit of volume, I start to...
Oh, man. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I had this movie on my radars. I have multiple, apparently. I had it on my radar, and I assumed it wasn't going to be, like, phenomenal or anything, but I just assumed it was going to be good fun, especially when Henry Cavill's in the mix. Obviously, you kind of assume he's not going to be in it that much. But surprisingly, he also was.
He was in it more than I thought he would be, for sure.
Well, he's a character in the book she's writing, but he's kind of still... He's not like a major role besides, like, as far as like actual plot goes. Well, kind of actual. Who knows? Not you. But he was in it way more than I thought was going to be in it, and he was awesome. He was fun. He was a little charismatic, little cheeky bastard with this little smile and grin. Sam Rockwell was fun. Bryce Dallas Howard was fun. But as you were saying, at the hour mark, it does get a little pick-up-y.
Yes.
It does, for better or worse. The first half was good. There was moments where it had its like lulls, or just kind of moments where it was
Too much exposition was my biggest problem with the first hour.
And just a lot of musical sequences going on.
For instance, you know, it opens with a movie or a scene from the book, and then it cuts to her reading that scene at a book signing, and then they have like 10 people ask her questions, which is too many people to be asking her questions. And it's very obvious that some of them are spies from the get-go.
Yeah. Very specific.
But then, like, that was only, like, one of them, and there were still, like, 9 other people asking questions.
Yeah.
Just way too much in that aspect. And it was just... It became convoluted at a point where just, like, too much was going on. It was more complex than it needed to be, to the point where it ultimately... ruined the story that it was. I'll probably get into spoilers later, but we won't do that at the moment. It had a lot of fun action set pieces, some cheesy ones too.
A lot of too much fun for its own good.
Yeah.
Enough to where it was like, oh, that's not actually fun. That's just a lot to look at now.
Yeah. I think ultimately this is a movie that destroys itself. Because it takes something that's very interesting, presents it to you, shows it to you for a while, and then changes it to something that's not that interesting and just kind of overplayed and not as fun or, you know, kooky as it was in the beginning. Becomes way too serious, but then tries to not be too serious, which is just a weird tonal, you know, meshing of it all, and yeah, it ultimately just gets in its own way, trying to be too smart when it doesn't need to be smart.
Especially when it starts twisting itself a lot.
Yeah.
More than once. You're like, oh, there's a twist. Oh, there's another twist. Man, that's a crazy looking pretzel looking thing.
Yeah.
Wow, it's getting nutty.
Yeah. There's like 3 twists in 5 minutes at one point.
Yeah, and it does get in the way of itself a lot. definitely hurts itself. The first half of the movie's solid, but that second half does way too much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what all was planned that way, or if like just shit kept changing within like maybe production.
Mm-hmm.
But it did just kind of keep going, and especially the last half hour. Sorry, that's the short for half hour, I guess.
Half hour.
Good old hour.
Hour.
It just kept doing things that it didn't need to be doing.
Yeah.
And just kind of padding the runtime more and more than it needed to be
Definitely.
padded. Because it was 2 hours, 20 minutes. It easily could have been hour 50, 2 hour movie.
Yeah.
Easy. It is what it is.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to say that's not going to spoil it, and I don't even have that much to say with spoiling it, but it is something I want to get off my chest. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, bear that chest.
Okay. So, skip to this time if you don't want to hear any spoilers. This isn't a huge spoiler, but it's a spoiler, so if you want to go in blind, skip to this time right here. Ooh. So, at that halfway mark we keep mentioning, it turns out that the story that was proposed to us, which is she's an author and she just happens to be predicting what's happening, was not the case. And it's a whole amnesia spy kind of thing. Not as interesting, not as fun, just kind of gets in its own way. And at that point, I really kind of checked out because I was just like, this is not the movie I wanted it to be. And I didn't even want it to be a movie to begin with, but like it was more fun before. And then it was just like once that was revealed, there was like 20 to 30 more minutes of just exposition where it's just like, okay, we get it, keep going. So it really just shot itself in the foot at that halfway mark and ruined what could have been an okay movie. So yeah,
it did that little number, and then there was just a lot of other twists going on towards the end. There was just
too many, too convoluted, too much exposition.
Was she the bad guy, or was she a good guy pretending to be a bad guy, being a good guy, or what the like?
I'm the dude disguised as the good dude playing another dude.
It kept going into that. Like
Yeah.
it kept twisting. Like where the fuck does she lie?
Yeah. And not in an interesting way. Like there's been movies that have done that where it is interesting, but at this you're just like, I don't care anymore.
Like you knew exactly where she was standing, but she was like faking where she was standing, but it didn't seem convincing enough to like at least sway us to be like, well, yeah, she's obviously not going to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just goofy. I mean, for a February movie, tis what it is.
I didn't hate the time we watched it. It could have been better.
Could have been.
Matthew Vaughn has made some pretty good movies before, and this kind of just fell flat.
Especially at the very end when they jump shark.
And Henry Cavill and John Cena didn't kiss.
Yeah, they didn't kiss. That was a complete missed opportunity.
Opportunity.
That would have been hilarious.
It would have been.
They should have got their money.
Yeah.
And so we should have got our money's worth. But then Matthew Vaughn just like jumped sharked with this and connected. We're still in spoiler territory, by the way. Sorry. He just connected this movie and
The Kingsman. So now he's creating his own cinematic universe because that's the thing now.
Yeah, did not need to happen at all.
My only hope is that was just a nod to The Kingsman and not a connection to it. I don't think it was.
Even if it was a nod, it was
too obvious of a nod. Where a nod to someone, like if you're a director making a nod to your own work, it should be in the background.
Yeah.
Whereas this was in the forefront and had the logo and everything. So it probably wasn't a nod. It probably was connecting it, which is worse. But I had hope that it was just a nod. But now I'm thinking that it wasn't.
At the end of the day, I guess we'll see.
We'll see. Well, we might not, because this might not make enough money to make a sequel.
Yeah.
So
who knows?
Which is a shame, because I thought that, well, I guess it's not a shame, but like it could have been good with Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
That in the first half they were great together, and I like that story a lot better than what it ended up being.
Yeah.
Oh well. So ratings, I'm gonna give this I'm between a 2 and a 2.5. I'm gonna say 2 just because it did ruin itself. If it was the way it was from the first half all the way to the end, and stuck with that story, I'd probably be at a 3, but it shot itself in the foot, so I'm gonna say 2.
at the hour and a half mark is where I started going down a grade, and I was at 3 up until then. So for me, it's going to be a 2.5. I didn't hate the time, but it did overstay its welcome.
Yeah.
With just doing too much and stuff. Well, and just being very long movie. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be 2.5 for me.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So, if you saw Argylle, tell us what you thought down in the comments. Did you think that Henry Cavill and John Cena should have kissed in that scene where it transitioned from Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell kissing to it should have been Henry and John kissing, because that would have been.
But it would have been just Henry kissing nothing, and we wouldn't have even seen it to begin with.
We wouldn't have seen it. Damn.
Damn it.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye bye.